Okay, well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another one of our In Conversation YouTube interviews. And I'm delighted today to have a young man from Dublin who has set up in a pandemic with his partner a brand new technology company. And it was due to launch about a year ago, and we all know what has happened since then, don't we? But without further ado, I'd like to interview. I will do that as well, but I'd like to introduce as well John Maguire from TripAdmit. Good morning, John.
Morning, Graham. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. John, tell me a little bit about what TripAdmit do so that people can get familiar with it.
So, TripAdmit provide a technology solution for tour and activity providers to sell through their own website or to distribute their product out to OTAs and third-party distribution partners.
So when you say tour activities, you mean the sort of thing that if I was going on holiday to, say, Antigua, when I'm out there and I decide that I want to go on a booze cruise, on a catamaran, that I go to one of those little caravans and book it through there. That's going to be computerized. That's what you do, is it?
Yes, that's it. That's it exactly. So everything from walking tours through to outdoor activities such as snorkeling to the attractions themselves. So if you want to go and visit a local attraction, essentially we provide the solution for those clients to sell online and to sell in advance to their customers, as opposed to waiting for walk-up business like they would have in the past.
So this is a product that will be very useful for the travel trade in terms of additional revenue. So that if I'm selling a holiday to Antigua for a third party, then I can say, well, while you're there, why don't you take a trip on a catamaran? That's
Ex- ex-
essentially it.
Exactly. That's the original product that we built. Our first product that we launched into the market was for the trade, so that the trade can earn ancillary revenue from tours and activities. So, for example, like airlines earn ancillary revenue from hotels and from car hire, they can plug in our solution to sell tours and activities to their customer base and to earn ancillary revenue from there. And in the same way that the tour and activity provider can distribute their own product, out to those same partners.
I suppose the real issue is really one of behavior, is that most people don't decide to do those things unless they're prompted to by a travel agent, I suppose. But most people don't decide to do those things until they're in destination. Um, is that a problem for you?
It's, I suppose pre-pandemic, it would have been a case that 80% of tours and activities were booked offline. So a lot of people would have waited until they were in destination. The vast majority would have been booked, either on the day or the day before the actual activity itself. I suppose one thing is that the industry itself was lacking the connectivity and the technology to actually sell in advance, and the uptake was very low. However, now what the pandemic has done is the pandemic has changed that, because a lot of people, not that many people are traveling right now, but what people will be doing when they're traveling is planning in advance. So therefore, advanced sales solutions are becoming key for this sector. And the sector is now digitizing at a rate not seen before.
This must be I mean, you must get very close to some of these providers, some of the activity providers. And again, anecdotally, it will always appear to be a fairly, um, would hesitate to use the word disorganized, but a fairly disorganized affair. You turn up. Sometimes the taxi turns up on time, or the minibus. You get a phone call the night before. All those types of things that go on. That must be extremely difficult to handle online as opposed to offline.
Actually, what online does for us is online brings the organization to us, because essentially it's what online does is, and what we bring to the table, it's a reservation system, and it's essentially, if you think about it, as a central reservation system. So rather than having overbookings, the system won't allow you to have overbookings. You can control all your inventory, you can control all your resources, who needs to be where and when, etc. So essentially, it brings organization to the side of the house that essentially was run on a manual basis. You know, a lot of the organizations would have operated previously on pen and paper, whereas they might have sold digitally via the OTAs. It is a case of that a lot of the booking management was done manually. So you know, what it will do, and it is bring organization to it. It's a very fragmented industry. And I suppose that's part of the reason why it was so slow to digitize. Many other sectors of the travel industry have digitized long before the tourism and activity sector. But I suppose the building blocks are now in place for digitization and connectivity to be able to digitize this sector of the travel industry.
And I'm assuming that this also means that even if I don't decide to book it prior to my trip, there's no reason why I can't use an online booking system when I'm in destination.
Exactly. It's a case of it. We bring the internet with us these days. You know, it's in our pocket. You know, and it's a case of that. The thing that digitization does is that you can secure your spot up to, you know, and it's up to the tour and activity provider. But if you want to book something, you know, what will we do in the next hour? What will we do in the next 30 minutes? Yeah, you can just, you know, pull out your phone, book it, reserve it, and that's it. You have your ticket, and it's a case of you can even get your ticket delivered to your mobile phone, walk up to the tour and activity, and self-check in.
Are tourism activity businesses doing anything else to prepare for our big comeback, our post-pandemic return? Are they?
It's we. I suppose we've seen a number of different initiatives, and it's a case of obviously travel will, you know, tourism activities and travel will change post-pandemic, and it's a case of, you know, the phrase at the moment, especially in the industry, is contactless. So contactless travel. So things like, you know, booking in advance will become, and planning in advance will become a feature. There's also protocols from the various tourist boards and tourism bodies with regard to social distancing, etc. Those will still maintain. The groups on group tours will become smaller, and even the attractions. So we're in discussions with a castle in Ireland, for example, and it's about the people flow system. So it's about managing the flow of people through the attraction itself. So, for example, you know, and it's, you know, general admission will become less prevalent, and it will be more about timed entry. So ensuring that you book a time slot. So there's a lot happening in the industry. I think the industry itself, especially over the last year, from a COVID perspective, have put in a lot of the COVID protocols, you know, with regard to hygiene, etc. However, it is a case of that. Now comes the next piece: is that okay, when travel and tourism does return, you know, there is the aspect of how do we implement the social distancing, the you know, the people flow, for their own businesses, for their own cities, for their own attractions, etc.
Good. So just to be clear, finally, if I'm a travel agent, how do I go about? You know, I've got someone. I'm just about to sell a holiday to the Caribbean. How can I start selling? You know, do you have the tools available for that travel agent now to use and start selling additional activities there and therefore making more income?
Yeah, so what we have is we have a essentially a distribution portal, and on that we have approximately 50,000 tours and activities covering the globe, and that is a solution that we can roll out to the trade essentially. And they would, you know, you'd log in and they can sell the tour and activity. It'll get delivered directly to the consumer via email or onto their phone. And it's a case of it's fully tracked, and the travel agent will be able to earn ancillary revenue from that.
Excellent. Well, John, I wish you the very best of luck in getting agents to use your system, but also getting more activities on your database. It must be a bit of a chicken and egg situation. And I wish you well in the future, and that your launch is not postponed again because of the pandemic, and that you launch successfully. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Graham.
Cheers.
Pleasure to speak to you.